Welcome back to my channel. My name is Ray, and we are here to wrap up the series finale for The Secret of Us. So, we're here at episode 8. It's the final. We have last episode, the secret of what happened 2 years ago was unveiled to Lada, and she pretty much went off on her mother. Oof. And her mother slapped her in the face, and she basically packed her bags and left and decided to quit her job. She's going to try to, strike out on her own, etc. She went over to Ern's place and fully reconciled finally with Ern. And meanwhile, the mom, freaking out, still homophobic, but freaking out because she slapped her daughter in the face and she's never put her hands on her daughter. And she, I don't know, had a heart attack or something, stroke, something, whatever. She collapsed. So we all know that it's going to end with Lada coming back to the hospital and, feeling bad or whatever. But the question I have is that going to be enough to, sway her back into taking over the hospital? Or is she going to stay around there and be like, no, I made my decision and I really want to try striking out on my own, We'll see, I guess. This is the last hurdle we have, so we'll see how they handle the collapse of the mom. I don't think it's going to end with her deciding to marry what's his face, New. He's in a discovery of his own, figuring out that actually I like men. So he's discovering that himself. So I think it's too late for him anyway. So we'll see. All right, let's jump into the last episode. And she's gonna get a call from the dad saying that the mom is in the hospital, I guess. Or maybe from one of the other doctor friends. Because I'm assuming she's gonna go to her own hospital for care.
พี่หมอโอเคไหมฮะโอเคสิคะพี่ไม่ได้เป็นอะไรสักหน่อยพี่หมอรู้ไหมคะว่าคนเราปกปิดอะไรยากที่สุดความรู้สึกไงคะปิดยังไงก็ปิดไม่มิดหรอกค่ะ
Cheesy. It's a bit cheesy.
ยังไงมันก็ต้องแสดงออกมาไม่ทางไหนก็ทางหนึ่ง
มีคู่แต่งงานข้าวใหม่ปลามันขอมาฉลองด้วยคนได้ไหมจ๊ะ
ยังไม่แต่งค่ะ แต่อีกหน่อยไม่แน่
แม่กินความรักอ่ะ นี่ซื้อของมาเยอะเลย
ซื้ออะไรมาเยอะแยะคะเนี่ยพี่สุซี่
ช่ำๆมื้อนี้
ไม่ให้ไปหรอกโอ๊ยซื้อขนมมาจะอ้วนไหมเนี่ย
ไม่อ้วน
Here we go.
คุณพ่อสวัสดีค่ะคุณพ่อ
แม้ว่าเกิดภาวะ end stage heart failure แล้วยังมีภาวะ intractable ventricular arrhythmia อีก หลังจากทำ CPR ไปครึ่งชั่วโมงแล้วไวท์ทั้งสายก็ดาวน์ลงเรื่อยๆ
ทำไมคุณแม่ไม่เคยบอกระดาเลยว่าคุณแม่ป่วย
Is that why she was trying to rush to get her married or whatever?
หนูก็รู้จักนิสัยแม่เขาดีไม่ใช่เหรอ
Stressing herself out and making her own condition worse. This is what homophobia gets you. And of course we know that she has a tendency to take things on to herself that she shouldn't. So she's gonna be like, It's my fault for upsetting her, or something like that. He's like, no, babe, it definitely is not your fault. None of this is your fault. I love this outfit Susie has on.
พี่ซูซี่คะทำไมเอิญรู้สึกแย่จัง
แย่ แย่เรื่องอะไรอะคะ น้องเอิญไม่ได้ไปทำอะไรแม่คุณหมอเขาซะหน่อย
แต่
Right?
ถ้าเอิญไม่คิดที่จะเปิดตัว ถ้าเอิญเลือกที่จะอยู่ในที่ของเอิญทุกอย่างมันก็จ
No,
บ
she had a medical condition.
แต่นี่เอิ
And
ญ
she
เลือกที่จะแสดงตัว
exacerbated
ตน
with
ทุก
her
อย่างมันถึงได้เป็นแบบ
own
เนี้ย
behavior. It was all on the mother
ไม่เอานะคะ
and
อย่า
nature, I
คิด
guess.
บวก เรื่องมันมีอยู่แค่นี้ คิดบวกไปถึงนู่น คนเขาจะป่วยเราจะไปห้ามเขาได้ยังไงล่ะคะ ตอนนี้เนี่ย คุณหมอของน้องเอิญเนี่ยเขาต้องการกำลังใจมากๆนะคะ น้องเอิญยิ่งต้องหนักแน่นให้มากค่ะ
Agreed.
ไวท์เทิลไซน์อาจไม่สเตเบิลได้ครับ
ครับ ผมเข้าใจ
So I guess we're gonna have a period in which she goes back and runs the hospital and yada yada. She's gonna feel like she can't be with Earn, be her authentic self, or she's gonna lose her mother. So she's been in a coma for a few days.
ปกติแม่นอนแค่ไม่กี่ชั่วโมงไม่ใช่หรอคะ
Few days, maybe.
หนูเป็นเพราะคุณแม่โกรธหนูขอโทษที่หนูพูดจาไม่ดีหนูขอโทษที่หนูทำหนูไม่น่ารักหนูขอโทษที่เป็นแบบที่แม่ต้องการไม่ได้
I understand that she has to say this because that's how she was brought up, etc., but you will never catch my ass
ตื่นขึ้นมาได้ไหม
apologizing
หนูสัญ
for
ญาว่า
being
หนูจะเป็น
queer
เด็กดี
to somebody who was violently homophobic to me.
ตื่นแล้วแม่ I love you นะ
I get it. I need her to wake up from this coma and say, I'm sorry for being
คุณแม่
homophobic
ได้
to
ยิน
you.
ระดาไหมคะ
And I accept you as who you are. Is she like, you know, prescribing stuff? And not only is that your mother, and so therefore you probably shouldn't be being her doctor, but also aren't you a dermatologist? Why did they make her a dermatologist when she is constantly in the ER and in the ICU, etc.? Just make her an ICU doctor.
พี่หมอหิวอะไรไหมอยากกินกาแฟอยากกินแซนด์วิชอะไรหรือเปล่าเดี๋ยวเอิญไปซื้อให้ไม่เป็นไรค่ะ
But I guess if they did
Pee-wee
that, they wouldn't have any excuse to have her attend all of these celebrities. I've talked about this before, so.
ไหนสัญญาว่าจะไม่เหนื่อยกับปัญหาของพี่เอิญไม่เคยเหนื่อยกับปัญหาของพี่หมอเลยนะคะ
She just doesn't want to be the reason that you have a hard time with your mother. I get it.
แต่แค่พี่หมอต้องอยู่กับแม่ให้เยอะที่สุดดูแลคุณแม่ให้ดีที่สุด
So we're gonna take a little break. Are we gonna get a time
เรา
skip?
แค่ต้องห่างกันเพราะตอนนี้คุณแม่กำลังต้องการพี่หมอที่สุดนะคะ แปลว่าการห่างครั้งนี้ เราอาจจะต้องห่างกันไปตลอดชีวิต
I mean, I guess one of them could die before the mother dies. So that could be forever. But... It's the angst. It's the heartache. Rack focus to the mom, opening her eyes. Oh, no. Okay. Alright. It's probably going to just be until she wakes up and reveals that in her comatose state, she shed her homophobia.
เด็กคนนั้นเป็นไหนแล้วคะ
ไปแล้ว
แล้วทำไมจู่ๆไป
เขาเลือกที่จะไปเอง
Because you were
เพราะ
sick.
เขารู้ว่าถ้าเกิดเขายังอยู่ คุณกับระดาก็จะทะเลาะกันอีก เขาเลยเลือกที่เป็นฝ่ายถอย
หนูขอถามอะไรตรงๆได้ไหมคะ เป็นเพราะหนูใช่ไหมคะท่านถึงต้องป่วยแบบเนี้ย
หรืออย่าโทษตัวเองเลย เรื่องนี้ไม่มีใครผิดหรอก แต่ถ้าให้พูดกันตรงๆนะ ตอนนี้แม่ระดากำลังต้องการระดามาก และช่วงเนี้ยระดาควรดูแลแม่เขาให้ดีที่สุด
I'm a little too cutthroat. I don't give a fuck if we blood related.
หนูจะเป็นคนถอยออกมาเอง
You can deal with that shit in the afterlife.
แล้วเราไม่เสียใจเหรอ
เสียใจค่ะ
But I understand why they
เสียใจ
feel
มากด้วย
they feel the way that they feel.
แต่คนสองคนรักกัน แค่รักอย่างเดียวมันไม่พอหรอกค่ะ มันต้องเข้าใจกันด้วย และหนูก็เข้าใจพี่หมอมากๆเลยค่ะ
Yeah, and Lada
Pero
wouldn't
wag
be
mo
able
nabagay.
to
Henay.
ignore her mother.
แต่การ
Get it.
ที่คนคนหนึงจับมือคนสองคนพร้อมกัน แล้วมันทำให้ทุกอย่างต้องพัง และถ้ามีคนสักคนที่ต้องปล่อยมือ คนคนนั้นควรเป็นหนูค่ะ
ผมดีใจนะ ที่ลูกเราได้เจอคนอย่างเอิญ คนแบบนี้แหละที่ทำให้ลูกเรามีความสุขได้
แต่เขาเป็นผู้หญิงนะคะ
แล้วยังไงอ่ะ
Truly, so what?
ในเมื่อลูกเรารักเขา เขาก็รักลูกเรา มันยังจะมีปัญหาอะไรอีกล่ะ ถ้าตัดอคติออกไปนะ คุณก็จะเห็นว่าพวกเขารักกันมากแค่ไหน
This feels like the most casual we've ever seen Lada. Because, you know, they always done up in this show. They never feel actually casual. Because, you know, you can't have these women looking not pristine. Or it breaks the illusion, I guess. I don't know. Can't have these women looking like, you know, regular people.
Dad.
ค่ะคุณแม่
Girl, you look rough. Does it remind you when you found her in, what was it? Italy? Somebody said? Apparently it was on a package at the beginning that I absolutely did not read or see. As the mom, I'm assuming. Mm.
คุณรัศมี สวัสดีค่ะ
แม้แต่งานในวงการที่หนูรักหนูก็เลือกที่จะไม่แตะมันอีกเพราะ
Oh,
อะไร
she
รู้ไหม
quit her
คะ
job?
เพราะหนูตั้งใจจะทำทุกอย่างไม่ให้มันกระทบกับจิตใจของคุณกับพี่หมอ หนูไม่อยากสร้างปัญหาให้ครอบครัวของคุณอีก แค่นั้นมันยังไม่พอหรอคะ
Catch my ass. Torpedoing my career because of my girlfriend's homophobic mother. Please. I guess I'm committing a murder.
หนูยอมแล้วจริงๆ จะอะไรก็ได้ อย่าให้หนูเลิกรักพี่หมอเลยนะคะ หนูทำไม่ได้
I guess this is sad. But we scrapping. I'm sorry. I ain't sitting there and trying to win over a homophobe's heart. Get the fuck out of here.
ฉันขอให้เธอ รักและด่าแบบที่เธอเคยรัก
I guess this is a win. We just put her through years of torture. Both of them.
ดูแลและด่าให้มีความสุข
Thanks for no longer being homophobic.
ไม่ต้องเศร้าหรือว่าเสียใจอีกต่อไป
I know this is supposed to be a very sweet and sentimental moment and, you know, heartwarming or something, but it's just not for me. So bad.
ขอโทษที่เธอดูถูกความรักของเธอทั้งสองคน
Thanks for the apology. Bare
ข
minimum,
อโทษที่ฉัน
but
คิดว่ามัน
thank
ไม่มี
you.
ทางเป็นไปได้ ฉันขอโทษ
I appreciate what they're doing, but
ขอบคุณนะคะ
I think it would be interesting to see just more stories where somebody's just gonna stay fucking homophobic for life. And what do you do then? What do you do when you don't have a scene like this? Where the mom is just a homophobe and it's never going to stop? Are you gonna ruin the rest of your life trying to please somebody who will never see you as a human being? 'Tis the question. But, you know, we ain't got time to unpack all of that. We only got 8 episodes, so I get it. This palette, y'all. This color palette is relentless. Relentlessly pastel.
แม่เป็นคนพาเอิญมาหาฟ้าและดา
Susie, the only one that stand out every time. I think that's why I like all of her outfits.
แม่ขอโทษและดานะ
Thanks, Mom.
ต่อไปและดาไม่ต้องแอบร้องไห้คนเดียวอีกแล้วนะลูก
I guess you gotta have stories like this where it's kind of, it's not really wholesome. I know they're trying to portray it as wholesome, but, you know, it'd be wholesome if she wasn't homophobic at all. But,
แม่ฝากและดาด้วยนะลูก
it's a story about, you know, forgiveness and everything. So it's like a mirror of the forgiveness that happened between Ladai and Ern. Also extending to Lada and her mother, and Ern and Lada's mother. All right. So we're getting married. Or maybe this is just like an engagement kind of ceremony. Truly, Susie, the Papa color, love her.
สวยมากค่ะสวยค่ะเลิศ
นี่คุณหมอ มือไม่ต้องไว้ตรงนั้นก็ได้มั้งคะ
วางไว้ตรงนี้ละค่ะ เหมาะแล้ว
All right, we got final episode pairings, I guess,
สอง
happening.
สามคนนี่เคลียร์หมดแล้วเหรอคะโอ้ยพอเลยคุณรถพอเลยค่ะ เอา
Sure.
เอ้าแล้วนี่แทนอยู่ไหนอะคะ
He's with his boo, I'm sure.
What? นู่น
At least they're not a last minute pairing because they've been seeding that throughout the whole series. Again, relentlessly pastel. Everybody in tan. This is a tan wedding, y'all. Tan and brown.
นี่แกอย่าบอกนะว่า
I know that the plunge on that neckline, sir. Embarrassing. That's fucking
เป็น
embarrassing.
แฟนกันนี่
ไม่ต้องพูด
That trip away really changed
ทุกคนคะ
things for him.
เกิดเรื่องใหญ่แล้วค่ะ
เรื่องใหญ่เลยค่ะ
โนน มีคนแอบเฝ้าอกหัก
Oh, I forgot she existed.
อยากรู้ว่าเขา
No. Fuck this bitch. Alright, sure. Last minute pairing here. Let's pair these spares. She's so upset. All the shit she did to earn, I have a very lowered empathy for her. I like these dresses. They look great. Two very different aesthetics, but still tan. What are they dancing to?
แต่มันไม่สมบูรณ์อะไม่มีอะไรเพอร์เฟกต์หรือว่าสมบูรณ์ไปหมดทุกอย่างหรอกนะคะ
Yeah, what do you think is missing? You draw a little bit of them. Okay, yeah, I was thinking added them in the corner or in the window or something.
ฮันนีมูนค่ะ
Ooh.
พร้อมค่ะ
Where are we going? Going back to where you first met? Oh, so they actually built
นี่มันบ้านเราเหรอคะพี่หมอ
their house?
ใช่ค่ะนี่บ้านของเราค่ะ
ขอบคุณนะคะ
Be careful of the water.
นี่
They got a house as brown as their wardrobe. This leather skirt though looks great.
ถ้าเกิดว่าเอิญเอารูปของเรามาวางไว้ตรงนี้ดีไหมคะ ดีไหม
Gotta do a little christening of this house, our new house together. Matching wedding rings.
รักนะคะ เด็กดื้อของพี่หมอ
จะจับมือเธออย่างนี้เรื่อยไปจับมือไว้นะอย่าปล่อยขอแค่มั่นใจฉันมีเธอเสมอและฉันมีแต่เธอเท่านั้นกี่ขวดน้ำก็จะฝ่าไปนานแค่ไหนที่เราต้องเจออยากบอกว่าฉันรักเธอรักเธอหมดหัวใจไม่บอกสักคำก็รู้ว่าเธอรักเท่าไรสิ่งที่
Nice happy ending.
บอกฉันได้อยากให้มันเป็นอย่างนี้เรื่อยไปเหนื่อยแค่ไหนใจก็พร้อมฝันผ่าได้เห็นสายตาของคนที่รักเท่านี้ก็สุขหัวใจ
All right, that was the end of The Secret of Us. Really short run series, 8 episodes. We kind of breezed through some issues because of it. It was the kind of finale I thought it was going to be, you know. Once we understood, we kind of all knew that the story was probably going to end with like some kind of commitment ceremony or wedding or whatever, reaffirmation of their relationship towards each other. There's nothing in the story that made me think we weren't going to get that. That was going to have some kind of sad ending or anything. And then once the mom, got sick and passed out in the last episode, I was like, oh, it's going to be one of those where, she has some kind of change of heart because of her near-death experience or whatever, and is going to relent, and she's going to see some kind of devotion from her daughter, etc., and that's going to make her change her mind about being homophobic. But so it went pretty much exactly the way I thought it was going to go. There's nothing really surprising about it. Yeah. It was a good series. It was very exactly what you think the story is going to be, So, nothing too shocking or surprising. It's very short and sweet. It doesn't feel like we need another season of this. It doesn't feel like anything was left hanging or some kind of thread that needs to continue forward into another story. Sure, it would be interesting to see them living their lives as a married couple now, and her running the hospital and the trials and tribulations. And you could theoretically make a story about them, being each other's support through their lives, the early beginning parts of their marriage, their wedding, not wedding, but their marriage, and seeing, how they weather different obstacles as a couple now. Sure. But I doubt we're going to get a season 2 of this. So, overall though, like I said, I thought it was well done, for the story that we're getting. It's like a, pretty standard romance. They had great chemistry. I really enjoyed seeing them together. Obviously there's some storylines that I was more interested in than others, and there's some things that really gripped me, but it was still very entertaining to watch. Like I said, I just think it's so interesting. Like, obviously, that wasn't the point of this story, was to examine homophobia and how to deal with homophobia in your family when the homophobia doesn't just go away because somebody had a heart attack. Like, sometimes people are really entrenched in their prejudice. So what do you do then? But that wasn't the point of this story. So, I wasn't expecting anything groundbreaking there. And examining how to handle actually when your homophobic parent isn't suddenly nice because you cried a little bit. Like it happens all the time, more often than not. When somebody's homophobic, that shit doesn't just go away because somebody is sad. So then what do you do? So I would love to see another story in which you just have to deal with that. There was a poll that was going around on Tumblr, because I'm on Tumblr, and the question was, do you like stories that have, this is for queer people who watch BLs and GLs and QLs, etc. Do you like stories that have homophobia in them, that deal with like prejudice in some way? Do you avoid them? Do you dislike them? Do you hate them? Do you not mind either way? Or do you actively seek them out? And different people have different takes on it, on whether or not they like to see that in their BLs or GLs. I kind of sit in the middle. I don't mind it when it's there, and I enjoy stories in which, hey, this is a fictional world in which homophobia doesn't exist. Both of those things can be interesting depending on how you write them. But I do feel like with a lot of GLs and BLs, we do get this kind of, slightly idealistic, people who are homophobic in your family will stop being homophobic if you just wait long enough. And it's interesting to try and portray that, and I think that there's a place for that kind of storyline, to show for some people who are less, I don't want to say not homophobic because it's still homophobia, but it's like a less virulently homophobic kind of stance, that people who have that, it's just because they're homophobic just because of their own upbringing, or because of it's just the status quo. It's just them being, stuck in their ways, but they just need to, be exposed more and more to queer people and queer lives in order to let go of that. There are people out there like that. I don't want to pretend like it's not a thing. And so I understand the value of stories that don't necessarily deal with homophobia. And I also understand the value of stories where you have this really kind of, idealistic, people who are homophobic can change and they can stop being that way. And it's this kind of idealistic view of the world of, hey, if we keep showing this kind of story, then maybe some people who are on the fence will, finally tip over into, no longer being hateful. And then there's other people who just don't like to deal with homophobia at all in their stories. And they're like, this is an escape. I don't want to see that at all. I deal with homophobia in my real life, so I don't want to see that in my fictional world. I want to just have something really sweet that's for me, that doesn't deal with this kind of shit. And that's also valid. So I think there's a place for stories like that. But I do feel like with a lot of BLs and GLs, we don't get that third option of, hey, there's homophobia, and what do you do when that homophobia doesn't go away just because you love each other? Like, the sometimes people's family is just relentlessly homophobic. So now what? We don't get a lot of stories like that. I don't want to say that. We do get them occasionally, but I feel like the BLGL universe usually likes to be a little softer on that. Which, it's fine. It's completely fine. Like I said, it has its place in storytelling, and, some people find that more reassuring and, like I said, more of an escape So, you know, it's valid. But yeah, I have, like I said, I have mixed emotions about it. I can enjoy a story like that, and I can also just be a little bit frustrated by it, because it's always something like this where it's like this weird, unfortunate, like, result is that we have to watch these two women like beg and plead and cry to live their authentic selves, and they don't have a way forward if they don't get that approval from somebody who is homophobic. So that kind of weird disconnect that happens with me, that's like, but that's just me bringing my own lived experience to this, which is what you do with art. It's art. Art is something that you bring your own, you know, interpretation to, you know. So like, it's not, I'm sure there's other people that watch this and go, this is exactly what happened with my family, you know, and there's other people that watch it and they go, I like this because this isn't what happened with my family and I wish it had, you know. So and I'm bringing a different experience to it, which is sometimes people are fucking homophobic in your family and you gotta cut them off and it's over. Like, sometimes, and you will survive, you will live beyond that experience, you know. So, but that's all I had to say. That's all I meant. That's all I felt about this last episode. I'm looking forward to their next show together. I do know that they have another show. I saw that there's a trailer out there. I have not watched the trailer. I might wait until we get closer to the actual series releasing, if it gets picked up. I don't think it was a trailer. I think it was a pilot trailer. So I don't think it's been picked up or filmed or anything like that. So looking forward to their next venture. What else do I have coming out? Pluto, which I gotta watch. Petrichor, which will be coming out soon, I think in this month, I think. What else is coming out? Oh, I still have to watch Reverse for You, so I'll be starting that soon, hopefully. Probably later this month, I'll start Reverse for You. And Pluto, probably. Oh, there's a Fair, so I still have to watch a Fair. So there's a lot of GLs out right now. We're in a renaissance. I said way back in the beginning of the year that 2024 was going to be basically a GL renaissance. And it has been. There's been so many Thai GLs out and non-Thai GLs. I've seen a lot of well, I don't want to say a lot, but I've seen a few KGLs kind of cross my table, and I've seen I want to say one or two more Japanese JGLs. Other than Ayaka is in Love with Hiroko, which I am watching and I'm wrapping up and will be releasing soon. And Chaser Game W Season 2, obviously, which I will be watching, both of those. I feel like there was another one that I saw that had like a Season 2 this year. So, you know, we've had a few out there, floating out there. But obviously, you know, the Thai industry has just been like booming. This market is booming. So I'm really excited to see what other GLs they have to offer going into 2025. I mean, yeah, I'm excited. So like I said, probably the next thing I'm going to watch, it's not going to replace this, but the next thing that I am going to watch is probably going to be Reverse for You, and then Pluto. And then I'll circle back around for Affair at some point, probably after the Loyal Pin ends. I am going to, for Patreon viewers, I am not going to replace The Secret of Us with anything. So I'm going to slow down for the end of the year, going into the beginning of next year. So I'm going to drop from like, how many shows am I putting out right now? I have 4 shows that I'm putting out on Patreon right now. Arcane, The Loyal Pin, Secret of Us, and Till the End of the Moon. So after The Secret of Us, we're going to drop down to 3 shows. And then on YouTube, I'm going to replace The Secret of Us with Arcane. So as we go into season 2 of Arcane, so you could, I guess, say that I'm replacing The Secret of Us with season 2 of Arcane once it starts airing later this month. Yeah. So and then we'll figure out what I want to do after that. Pit Babe is wrapping up next week on Patreon. The final episode of Pit Babe will be next week of season 1 of Pit Babe. Who knows when season 2 will drop? Probably early next year, spring or something like that. And I'm going to replace Pit Babe with 4 Minutes. I've watched the first 3 episodes of 4 Minutes. I'm going to pick that back up. Again, a short one, only like 8 episodes, something like that. 8-9 episodes for that one too. So once that's done, and I'll figure out what I'll replace it with when I get closer to that. I don't know what I'll replace 4 Minutes with. Yeah. I don't know. Oh, no, I think I'm going to replace it with Love in the City, the KBL. I gotta watch the movie. I want to watch the movie first, and then I want to watch the show. I know that they're not the same, actors and everything, but they both came out around the same time, and they both cover different aspects of the same story. So I want to watch it all. So I'll watch the K movie first, and then because it released first, and then I'll watch the KBL after. So you'll get it all in kind of a set. And then after that, I don't know. Maybe I'll finally start releasing Meet You at the Blossom or something. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But that's everything that I have to say for this show. Very enjoyable. Lots of pastel, lots of brown, lots of tan. I think that was like the most noticeable thing for this show for me was how tan it was. The color palette was relentless, which is so funny because this poster must be from the pilot before they actually started shooting the full show, because there's not a bit of tan on either one of them. And her hair is browner too. It's not like more blonde. So I'm thinking that this poster is actually from an older version of the show before they decided on the look of the show that they wanted. But yeah, it was so brown. Like everything was brown and tan. Like even other characters. Like it was wild how brown that show was. But all right, we'll go ahead and let that go. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.
Whatever, all this ever, but you long gone, it don't matter.